great call for you today. You're going to be very, very excited for what we're going to be talking about today. If you're an agent who is looking to help the investors you already have or work with investors, this information is going to help you blow your business up. You'll be excited about what we're going to be doing. John, what are we going to be talking about next week before we get started here today? Do you already have that, or did I put you on the spot already?
You put me on the spot already.
Good. Well, we'll get it from
All right,
you,
it's good. Keeps him honest.
Yeah, right. He likes that for sure.
He does.
So we'll be getting going here in just a second. Yeah, fire away. We got some agents on here. Go ahead. What do you got?
Are all the agents on here in a geographical set area, or are they?
Yeah, all across the United States. So in the United States, yes. So if there's any type of limitations on that, make sure we discuss that for sure.
Sounds good.
Logging in as we go right here. And as everybody gets going, if you'd like to put your contact information in the chat box, if you'd like to trade referrals, go ahead and put the area that you operate in as an agent, and also, of course, the best way to contact you, whether your cell phone or email or both. That way people can reach out to you if they have somebody in your area. It's a great way to trade referrals on these mastermind calls. So we'll be getting going here in about 60 seconds. I see Kim Manson. Kim, you put your name. We're going to need some contact info, though, or no one's going to be able to get a hold of you. And also the area that you work in. We'd love to know that, too. And we're going to be getting started here in just a second. There we go, Kim. 708-334-6000. That's a good one, Kim. How'd you get the 6,000 number? It must have had that one for a while.
The lottery. She got lucky.
You got the lottery on that one for a cell phone number, right? Good. All right. And Kim, make sure, Kim, you also put the area that you're operating in so people can get going. All right. So we're going to get started here. I want to welcome everybody to our mastermind call. And as you know, we do these every Thursday at noon Eastern Standard Time. It's the same link every time. We keep it nice and simple, realtormastermind.live. And looks like Kim's out of the southwest suburbs of Chicago, where you're going to like our speaker today, who's also a fellow Chicagoan, but he's in Tennessee right now. But you're going to like this, brought to you by the beauty of the internet. So
that's awesome.
We do these on Thursdays, these masterminds. These are for you. We love input. As you have questions or ideas or comments, you can go ahead and put them in the chat box, or if you want to hold your question to the end, we'll let you on here and let you ask your question live at the end after we get done. So we're going to be talking today with David Antonelli. David is out of the Chicago marketplace, but he operates in many different states. He'll give you all the different states he's working in. What he does is he actually helps real estate agents get funding for lenders, right? So the name of his company is called Patriot Funding, and they offer financing solutions for investors. His cash flow loans are a great way. It's a great product for you to offer to your investors. Here's what we know as agents. We're sort of a commodity, right? There are, just here in Columbus, where Stacy and I are, there's over 10,000 real estate agents, right? So how do you stand out? Well, you've got to have something of value to offer. And what is the most valuable thing you have? Connections. Being able to connect your investors to somebody like David, who has private funding that can help them acquire more properties or get cash out of the properties that they have so that they can acquire even more properties, which you know is very important right now with the way inflation's going. So with that, I'm going to have David take over right here and have him speak. He's an important guy, so he's going to be getting out of here in a little bit. And David, tell everybody your background, how you got started, and tell us about this incredible program, if you would.
Absolutely. Jim and John, first off, thank you for reaching out to us, giving us the opportunity. I apologize. My voice is a little strained. I don't know. It's the clean air down here in the mountains, but
my wife thinks you sound like Tony Robbins. She thinks you sound like Tony Robbins. It's awesome.
It's better than you saying Barry White, so I'll take it. Absolutely. Thank you. So this is a brand new product to the market. Not many people have seen it. This allows real estate agents to approach their current investors who don't want to pay enormous rates. I mean, everything's in the teens right now. You have a lot of people that want to take advantage of contracts that have a time limit to expire to close, or they're getting some on a discount if somebody's in trouble. This product allows us to look at individual LLCs, no appraisal, no title, no hard credit pulls, no trade lines. I will look at a T12 for each LLC. And what I'm looking at are data tapes of multiple single family residents, 1 to 4, multifamily, mobile home parks, storage facilities, and hotels and motels. We look at the T12, all the rental income, and then minus out the debt service insurance taxes. Whatever that number is, I multiplied times 22. Whatever that number comes to, it's a max of 2 million per LLC. I fund in 5 to 10 days. And what our lender does is they put the name of their LLC on your borrower's LLC for 20%. No ownership, just a UCC filing. There's no membership rights. There's no voting rights. There's no ownership. They have no say in the LLC whatsoever. The rate's about 12.5 to 13. 3 points is what they're paying on the money. Again, no appraisals, no title, none of that crap. It goes along with getting a loan that takes anywhere from 3 weeks to say 60 days. So for agents, again, you've got opportunities out there and you got people that have all this equity in their properties. There's no prepay on our product. So now you have the opportunity to come to us and get that cash. And then we also can turn around, there's no prepay, so we can refi the property into a long-term fix and then pay that loan off. But it gives them the ability to take advantage of that opportunity today that sits in front of them. I can tell you that my first week I did 8.5 million just on that product, just here in Knoxville alone. That was out me going out to any other part of the country.
So David, if an agent on here was gonna want to prospect their sphere of influence, right? So maybe they just don't have this client already that you're describing. What would they put out there? What would be a good feeler for them to put out there on their social media or a blast email or a blast text to their sphere of influence? And I've got agents on here with decades and decades of experience and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of past clients. What's something they could put out there, a piece of something to pique the interest, to draw the people in so they can get them to you?
Sure. So John here, hold up here in the top left. He actually brought up a very good question because all of our marketing material is geared toward the lender, us going right at the borrower. So I'm working on a piece for the agents because it's much more limited. It doesn't need to have all of our data points on there from a lending aspect. And I think as an agent, you know, I've been doing this 25 years, so I've gotten to know agents' needs and whatnot, but all you need to let your borrowers know is, hey, we have an opportunity to link you into a product that will give you the opportunity. Again, they have to own those asset classes. You know, just give you a quick in-depth, we had a borrower who owns a bunch of GSA buildings for the government, Social Security, VA admin, AG, FBI, CIA. He owns like 11 properties and they cash flow beautifully, ton of equity. Now, mind you, that's another point. We don't need equity in the properties. If they're maxed, I still lend against the LLC as an entity, okay? But these were office buildings and we don't like office buildings. As you know, what's going on with inflation, the economy, all the lenders are backing out of office buildings right now. So we're hoping down the road we'll get that. But for now, again, to recap, SFRs, multifamily 1 to 4 or even higher, mobile home parks, manufactured housing parks, storage centers are real big, and hotels.
Hey, David, if somebody owned multiple single family residences, it's big here in the Midwest, right? People own 10, 15, 20
Sure.
single families. Do you do a blanket loan for all of them? Or are you looking at each one individually, or is
No.
it just the LLC you're evaluating?
Great question. So a lot of guys will put each property in a separate LLC. Some will blanket 20 properties in an LLC. We will lend anywhere, I think our minimum is like 20 grand, anywhere from 20 to 2 million per LLC. So the unfortunate side is if you got a borrower who's netting $900 a month in an LLC, they're probably not going to meet our minimum. But a lot of these guys do have multiple LLCs and will lend to each entity individually.
So it sounds like there's some people that are too small. Is there anybody who's too big for you that you're looking for? Like,
Well,
what's the sweet spot for clients that you're looking for?
The only way it would be too big, Jim, is if they had everything under one LLC. And if they do that and they're that big, they definitely need to get themselves a new attorney, because
Right.
they're setting themselves up in a real bad way if they get sued. But there have been some people where we've run into, and again, I don't want to pretend there's years of experience here on this, because his product's like a month, 2 months old. So it's relatively new. We're starting to see a lot of growth and changes, and we're hoping office buildings come back. But yeah, there has been a few guys or individuals, ladies, that have come to us and they'll have 3 million of income on an LLC. And then after the debt service, let's say it's 800 grand. Well, the max I'm going to lend you is $2 million. So
The great news is that the words that you're saying here might be Dutch to people that are listening. They don't need to know all this. You know all this. The idea is
Right.
to put out a piece of information to get an interested client and then get them in front of you. Is that what you would suggest?
Yeah, all you need to know as an agent, and just because you're out there to sell property, you're not out there to provide the capital. We can hook you up with somebody that'll explain to you how you can extract off your net cash flow and not have to refi your property or do an appraisal, and just make the connection. And from there, we can run through questions with them. Real basically takes 5 minutes. It's not a long drawn out process. They agree to it. They're happy. I go into the portal. All I got to do is provide their name, email, phone number, and then our back office takes over. They like us to at least get the T12 up front. We submitted. They're like, yep, this is a go. We like the property type. We like the location. We like it. Well, location's really not a big deal, but they like the T12. They like the borrower. Everything's good. Move forward, collect their entity docs, insurance, driver's license, stuff like that. But it's not nearly a full underwrite like as if we were getting an appraisal or ordering title. It's a much easier process. I wish they
Awesome.
would.
For those of you who are logging on late, we are speaking with David Antonelli. He's out of Chicago, but he covers nationwide. He is with Patriot Funding. David, Patriot Funding your company, or is it somebody you're with?
No, it's a drawn out story. I'll shorten it. I'm a big football fan like John up there, and he's going to cringe when I say this. But when I originally opened my company, I named it after the New England Patriots. Well, we all know how many people hate the New England Patriots. So within a year, I had so many people that told me they literally would not do business with me because I named it after the Patriots. So I told my wife, I said, get the helmets and get the football players off the website. In fact, it's under construction again right now, because there were some pages that had footballs and our logos when timing is everything. So it was like football players going over the end zone line. So now we're putting all American flags and American Eagles and just making it all about patriotism. So that's where we kind of ended up.
I love it. So we're speaking with David Antonelli with Patriot Funding, and what he's doing for you as an agent is he's helping you find other streams of cash flow, right? You have a sphere of influence, you have past clients, and what he's able to do is he's going to create some marketing pieces for us. In fact, John Herhold put for us in the chat box some Google Drive information for you to download. Go ahead, if you're on now, go ahead and click in the chat box and get those downloaded for you so you can have those documents on there. But we're going to have a marketing piece for you to put out for you to share with your database. You're going to get those database people to come to you, and you're going to bring those people to David, and he's going to do all the calculations, all the questions that need to be asked to put them in a position to help them. He's talking about being able to get cash for your investors within days, it sounds like, without having to do credit pull, without having to do appraisal, all kinds of things like that. So it's an amazing opportunity for you, even if you're a residential agent, to get into the commercial space. Now, David, on top of finding the funding for their clients to do more real estate deals, is there any financial incentive to them from you to the agent?
Absolutely. We will treat the agent as a referral broker because they're not really gonna touch loan docs or anything like that, but we'll pay them 1% of the 3 that's collected to the agent. And we literally get paid the day it funds. So generally we'll pay the agent the day after.
So give them an idea of what that would look like on, say, a $2 million loan.
$2 million would be $20,000 to the agent.
Uh-oh, did that wake some people up? Let's see if we got some eyebrows lifted on that one. Now, these are residential agents you're talking to, David. So a lot of them are probably going, wait, in real estate school, I heard that because of RESPA, we can't get paid on the loan. But why is it possible and completely legal in this format versus what they're thinking about from selling someone a home?
My understanding, as long as we make it a marketing expense, it can be paid. You got to remember also, this is not residential. We are business purpose only. Everything's in an LLC. So when you come into my world, there is no RESPA. There are no guidelines.
Right.
I can pay you whatever I want, whenever I want, for whatever I want, and none of us are in violation, because most of that RESPA has to do with owner occupancy.
Right.
So if you had a loan officer kicking you back a piece for driving him business, then you're in violation. But we are not held under those covenants, not at all.
I wanted to make sure that was clear because probably 95% of everybody on here is a residential agent who's listening to this. So I didn't want them toning out on that. There is a dual financial incentive for you here. You can find the deal. You can help, make the introduction. You can get paid off the loan side. And then also your clients might take that money that they're refining out of the properties they own and go buy more properties with you. It's a great way to get into what I call resi-mercial, right? You can do some commercial deals depending on your broker, what your broker allows you to do or not. Our broker allows us to do both when we get approved through our broker to do that. And you can do some more commercial deals. It's a great way to get your volume level up. And for those of you who are on here also know that working with investors sometimes is better because it's not an emotional sale, right? When somebody's buying a house, they say, oh, it's got green shutters, I don't want it, or something crazy like that. On commercial, it's do the numbers make sense. And that's what David's going to be looking at. That was one of the greatest things I saw when I heard about his product, is the ability for David to evaluate the potential to give your client a loan without having to worry about the credit and things like that. Look, this is a big deal for people who have a portfolio of properties, either multifamily or a bunch of single family residences as they have, to be able to get their cash out of it and acquire more property. Everybody right now wants fixed assets because of what's going on with inflation, what's happening with the dollar, with the bricks that's going on, right? And with interest rates going up. This is a great way to get in and acquire more properties on that. And I also heard you say, David, you guys will even handle from the private funding over to refinancing it into a traditional loan. Is that correct?
It is, and I think everybody here knows the writing is a little bit still on the wall. I got some reports yesterday that they're going to get worse before they get better once again. So people that took advantage of the great low rates back a few years, you're not going to see those. So it is a great time for this product. It's allowing a lot of guys to extract cash and move forward. Even the second mortgages that do require an appraisal are big right now, and those rates are 11 to 16. Wow. But if you have a first mortgage at 3.25, why are you going to reposition that into a 9 to 12% to get cash out? You're just not gonna.
Right. So we got a question from Charlene Birch. She's out of Parkersburg, West Virginia. Charlene, go ahead and unmute yourself and ask David a question.
Hopefully you're my solution to my problem that I have today. I have an investor. He's bought a bunch of properties from me, some cash, some have loans. 2 or 3 of them were cash. We've got one right now we're under contract on, sent it over to a lender who agreed to do the loan. It's got a black substance, mold. We've already had contractor look at it in the basement, have the quote and everything for remediation. He's going to flip the house. It's an old doctor's house. He can get it for $308,000, and value wise, once it's flipped, depends on how well he flips it, 650 to 850, even $1 million it could be. But it's got some acreage with it and stuff. The problem lies that it has the substance in the basement and nobody wants to touch it. So I'm hitting brick walls there. Is that something where you can help him so that we don't lose this opportunity? He's got LLCs, but he's closed everything between his name, his wife's name, and 3 or 4 different LLCs.
When it comes to the mold, are there any city issues as far as allowing him to close with the mold existing?
No, it's outside city limits. There's no issue there.
West Virginia, David, it's the wild, wild west, wild and woolly West Virginia.
I have a builder up there I know very well. We're doing 480 cabins here in Sevier County. So I know he does a lot there too. My next question would be, is it going to show up in an appraisal?
It's
Do you have
obvious.
the- do you have the appraisal?
No, we never got to that point. The lender never, he saw photos and he said, no. Because we
So
said.
here's what I would recommend. This is what I would recommend, Charlene, is getting the person in front of David, letting them talk some shop, right? Making the connection and see what happens from there, because it's a very unique situation. And here's the thing that's going to happen. Most of you guys that are on here are residential agents. So you're used to more cookie cutter type loans, right? Where you have a strict bank that has strict requirements because they're going to sell the loan on the secondary market. David's got private funding. He is a unique fixer to unique issues. Your job as the agent would be to make the connection and let him do his thing and do the evaluation and see where he gets it. I think it's a great one, Charlene. You should get it over to him. By the way,
do it?
for everybody on here, David's contact, great question, Charlene. The contact information is at the top of the chat. You can see it there. If you want to download the chat, you can go to the bottom of the chat box. There's 3 little dots. You hover over it with your mouse. It says more. You click that and it says save chat. And it'll actually save everything you have in the chat and get your people over to David. So I think that's a great one, Charlene. Let's see if David can pull out a miracle for you there and save you. You'll be a hero forever.
I think what you'll find is when you have issues like that, lenders generally want more down because of the risk. You're not going to find
a problem with amount down or anything.
Okay.
We had a lender who said internal financing, of course, said they'd do it. They won't do it. Everyone I've called said, I'm not going to touch it. No, I'm not going to touch it. It has black substance in the basement.
Use some private funding, get it remediated, and then refinance into a conventional type loan.
It just needs updated. That's all.
All right.
Very simple.
Great.
Yeah,
So let's go with
some ideas there.
Yep, let's connect them and see what goes on from there. So we got Jennifer Mendoza. She has a great question. It says, is there a minimum length of time the LLC needs to be in business?
Generally 12 months.
Generally 12 months, Jennifer. And also, does the LLC need to be generating a certain amount of income? The answer to that is yes. David, you want to run through that for real quick again?
Yeah, again, like a minimum loan amount of 20,000. So whatever your number is after expenses, debt service, tax, insurance, that number, whatever it is, times 22 needs to be at least 20 grand.
Yep. And these could be as quick as 5-minute phone calls, guys. The key as agent is to be the connector. Be the connector. In 27 years of selling real estate, the biggest success that Stacey and I have had is the fact we don't try to be the source of all the information, right? Because this is a unique product, and it's also new, you don't want to be the expert in it. You want to be the connector. Learn to be the connector. Connect your person to that person, and then put yourself in the middle and make yourself some money. You'll make more on that. Sarah Thomas had a question, wanted to know, are you able to work with agents in different states? The answer to that, David, is nationwide, correct?
Nationwide.
Beautiful.
You know, most of our normal lending, we veer away from like North and South Dakota. This is all about LLCs. This is all about net cash flow. So anywhere there you're at in the US, all I care about is the LLC. That's it. The T12, the income.
Beautiful. And Jennifer Mendoza has another question. In California, we very often need a pre-approval and proof of funds to submit an offer. Will you provide that as being the lender?
Yes.
That's a thumbs up, Jennifer. Yes, he has. He has all of that. So great questions on that. If you guys have questions, we're speaking with David Antonelli. He's working with finding custom solutions, private funding for your investors. And if you don't have those kind of, you got the double high five from her, David, on the emojis on there. So well done.
Beautiful.
So what we're looking for is to help your investors with private funding, but also here's the important part. As real estate, because I've been through 3 of these changes in real estate in 27 years, which we're getting ready to go through one right now. And we're seeing it happen, right? The real estate market is shifting. You have to be able to look for alternative sources of cash flow, other ways of making money. And what Stacy and I talked about in 2008, we were looking for deals under rocks. That's what we were looking for, man. We were out there trying to find the business. This is a great way to shake some money out of the trees, right? To find out who in your network out there owns investment properties or knows somebody that owns investment properties that would like to pull some cash out of those properties to acquire more properties. It's a great way to do that. So great. So Charlene says she's got to go, but she'll be contacting you here in the future. So no problem,
Sounds
Charlene.
good.
Thanks for jumping on today. Hopefully this was worth your time jumping on here. We do these every Thursday at noon Eastern Standard Time. These are our Realtor Masterminds. What we have is we like to have a topic that we cover, and then we have you have input. You have questions, comments, things like that. So if you have any more questions for David, please put them in the chat box or raise your hand on there. You can ask these questions and we'd be happy to help you. We also record these. I would tell you this, you'll never watch the recording. We know it because we see the numbers on the YouTube channel, right? And John, if you want to put the YouTube channel in there of all of our past recordings, you're not going to watch it. Time block out your Thursday at noon Eastern Standard Time and 9 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, right? And all the other ones in between. And be here to show up. You can teach you something today that can make you a lot of money. Like if you didn't hear it earlier from David, if you do a $2 million loan with him, you as the agent would earn a $20,000 commission for the referral outside of the property that they might buy with you, right? Using that money, the commission you could earn on that also. So there is money in it for you as alternative sources of cash flow outside of just the buying and selling of the property. So I thought that was great stuff on there, David.
Thank you.
And David, you're going to get to John a marketing piece that people can maybe share to their social media or something like that. Is that what's going to happen?
Yes, when I get back to town, I come back Saturday. So next week I'll look to get him a piece that will explain how agents can use that marketing through their sites to drive that traffic specifically.
Beautiful. And John, the Google Drive links that you put in the chat here, if you guys haven't seen it yet, if you logged on here late, go ahead and scroll into the chat. What were those that you actually put in there? What are those links, John?
They were Dave, why don't you explain? They're
Yeah, go ahead, David.
Not me.
Wait, you're talking about the flyers that I gave you?
Flyers, yeah. What were those?
So those flyers really in detail lay out that product. We just felt from a lender's aspect to consumers direct, it gave them all the info. You as an agent, there you go, gives you a case study, structure, the benefits. You still can use that. We just thought it'd be better. John felt it'd be better if we gave you something a little shorter with bullet points that you could just direct to your clients to get interest, and then we would dive into the nuts and bolts.
Hey, Jim, if you don't mind, I've got a question for Dave. Dave, I know you talked in the beginning of the call about how you have blown things up in a very short period of time in Knoxville, or East Tennessee, I should say. Can you kind of share a story of an agent that you were working with and how this product helped them get a deal across the line that they normally, without this product, would not have been able to do?
I'm going to answer that the best I know how. So my daughter started pre-med down here about 2 years ago. She's a junior. We started about 6 months prior to her attending and just started hitting the area really hard. And there's been a number of agents down here that have had opportunities where you got people with W-2 jobs and they're buying property and maybe they just did a rehab and there was a lot of overruns. Everybody knows what that is. They ran into too many expenses, more money out of their pocket. And now another opportunity came up broad and they want to close on it. And they're lacking cash. We were able to take the cash flow out of their 12 properties that they've had for the past 3 years. And it netted them like 380 grand. And they needed 250, but they're like, I'll take the extra for my next deal. And they were able to take that cash, We closed in 6 days. They closed 10 days later on their property, and we actually ended up doing it on a fix and flip and creating a line of credit for them.
That's great.
So-
And as competitive as it is in the marketplace right now, being able to come in as a cash buyer helps put you up there. You know, it's not always for a seller. It's not always just the highest price. Sometimes it's the easiest and fastest close. So
Sure.
yeah, that's amazing.
So Jim, if I may, one more point.
Yeah.
We provide credit lines for rehabbers. You know, the guys out there, investors buying property 1 to 4, multifamily up to 30 units. We have a product where as long as they've got, you know, enough experience over the last 3 years, we'll go down to a 620 credit score. We'll provide a line of credit up to $10 million, 90% LTC. That means 10% down of the purchase price and total rehab with a 75 ARV. We only pull credit twice a year, every 6 months. Most guys out there that are doing investments, you're going to find that if they're doing 10 or 15 a year, their credit never gets above 700 because their credit's constantly being run. We provide that facility, and we only pull it once every 6 months just to make sure they're not doing anything stupid.
So they don't have
And-
25, 30 inquiries on their credit report, yanking the score
Correct.
down all the time. That's genius.
Correct.
That's great.
And
That's
the
really,
guys that are
really
the
helpful.
guys that are out there that are private that are not running credit, they're not giving you the levels of liquidity that we're providing. And in many cases, those guys will provide the funds to buy the property, but they won't provide you the CapEx. And that's the offset of not running credit with a private investor. You're not going to get all the funding you need. And as an agent on your side, that hinders your sales because now the lender's not giving you the adequate funding to enable you to go sell that investor maybe 3 more units for the year.
Right.
You know, so that line of credit kind of falls right hand in hand with that line. And I'll tell you, I've been so busy just in Knoxville where I drive down here every 5 weeks. You know, I spend 4 or 5 days here and I just meet agents day after day. You know, yesterday I met 6. We're doing a huge cookout tomorrow at a local title company. We've got over 300 people. I brought 70 pounds of Italian sausage from Chicago.
You didn't tell me there was gonna be free food. I would have flown in. I'd be there right now.
Jim, you got time, buddy.
All
You
right.
got time. You're
I'm
not
on my way.
airlines, they'll
I'm
fly
on my
right
way.
in.
Does anyone have questions for David? This is awesome stuff. This is a great way for you to really get a couple streams of cash flow, right? You're getting paid on the loan. Number one, you're helping your client out, pull equity out of what they have in a way where they normally wouldn't be able to get it from a traditional bank, and then also acquire more properties where you can represent them on that. It's an awesome way. The idea would be to get your people in front of David. His contact information's on here. The flyers you can download that we have already, but we're going to create something that's a little more social media friendly, a little more where the client is going to reach out to you versus going straight to David, right? Because you want to be the person that's doing the connector so you can get in there and get paid yourself. So we're going to develop something for you so that and put it out so that you can use it and get some people, get some business going, bring in some extra cash. John, what's our topic for next week? I put you on the spot again, but it was
You did. You did. We'll get it out to everybody.
all right, perfect. Good deal. We do these every Thursday at noon. David, anything you want to add on here?
Yeah, I just might want to add from a, you know, an advertising standpoint. I just want to add, I've known John Earholt for 20 years plus.
Yep.
Watched John be very successful in pretty much anything he's touched. Him along with some others, I took to social media from a LinkedIn standpoint, Facebook. If you're not using Facebook the right way, you can get John or I, if you want to just have a 5-minute chat about it. But LinkedIn has been amazing to me with this product and how I get it out there, live videos. So if you're an agent that's struggling to fill up your pipeline, there's no better way than free platforms to get your word out there, your face, your abilities, your structure, the options you can give people. You know, because if you're sitting at home, nobody's going to bring it to you. You got to get out there. You got to go grab it. And without hitting social media, I would have never gotten 8.5 million my first week on those products. I didn't make 8.5, but that was the volume. But you know, 3% of 8.5 is not a bad week.
Not a bad year for some people.
No, I just don't want my kids to hear this, because if they hear it, I'm not going to have that money anymore.
Right, they'll push you down the stairs, man. You don't want to.
It probably will.
Don't want to do that, David.
You'll
What's
be
your
picking up
connection?
every check for life.
What's your
That's right.
connection on LinkedIn? What's your profile on LinkedIn? Is it your name, or you got it under? You got
No,
it under.
it should be under my name, David Antonelli, and just look for Patriot Funding.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, so check him out on there. Check out some of the stuff he's advertising, maybe some of his videos that he's doing. You might be able to share those as content over to your LinkedIn page. I hadn't thought of LinkedIn as a great way to look, obviously, for people doing commercial business. It's better than Facebook. Yeah.
There's some great books on Amazon. Just type in LinkedIn books know-how. I've got about 12 of them. Incredible content in those books on how to just get your LinkedIn excelled to the next level. And I wish I had more time to read the books. I don't. But when I'm on flights, I read them. I try to late at night. It puts me to sleep. But you really can double your business with LinkedIn. It's the freest platform that's out there. If you can't afford to pay for the Premier or the Sales Navigator, you still can do some damage with that platform. You really can.
Yeah, LinkedIn, everybody in there is there for business, right? People aren't posting pictures of their breakfast and stuff like that. So
Well, you still got the stragglers that are in there
every now and
posting their
then.
breakfast.
All right.
Absolutely.
I love it. All right. Well, everyone, I want to say thank you to David for coming on here today. This is great stuff on here. It's another stream of revenue that you can bring in. We do these every Thursday at noon Eastern Standard Time. We also record them for those of you who can't make it, but I'd come watch the live so you can ask questions. I bet you Charlene Bird saved one of her deals today just being on here. Then she's going to hook up with her investor up with David. So looks like he can probably pull some cash out of the properties he has there in West Virginia. And David will be able to save a deal she's got supposed to be going to closing, get some cash and buy the property cash versus the bank that's bailing out on her. So I want to thank you for coming on. Everybody, go ahead if you want to download the chat with the stuff that's on there. Go to the bottom of the chat, hit the three little dots, and then just click Save Chat. And that will save it as a text file to your computer, and you will have that. And we look forward to getting that marketing piece out to everybody. We'll spread that out and pass that around so you can put it on your social media, put it on LinkedIn, hook up with David on LinkedIn, connect with him on there, take a look at his stuff he's doing, share it, see if you can generate some extra business for yourself. And we look forward to talking to everybody. And we'll see you all next Thursday.
Great. I will add one more thing.
David's got one more thing to add. Go ahead, David.
If you are looking for me, the best way, because this thing rings all day long, text me at that 630-675-4730. Just give me your name. Yep, say we met on EXP Grow Global, and please give you a call at what number, and if you want to tell me a little bit about what's going on, and I'll usually respond within a few minutes.
Yep. Perfect. And he's in the chat. He's the very first piece in the chat. But if you want to scroll up there, if you don't know how to download the chat, you can snap a little shot of that. But it's 630-675-4730. Send him a text, who you are and what you got going on, and you guys will connect, and he'll be able to work some magic for you. So
Absolutely.
Great stuff. Thanks, guys. Everybody have a great one. We'll see you next Thursday.
You.
Hey, I'm on my way down to that Italian food you got going on there. Sounds like an Italian buffet. I'm all about that.